AITA for knocking my brother out. Hey Reddit, I really need to vent and find out if I'm the arsehole in this situation. Buckle up, because this is going to be a long one. I've always felt like the black sheep of my family. From the moment I was born, my parents neglected me in favor of my golden brother 26M. It was like he could do no wrong, and I was just the invisible kid they had to deal with. Every achievement of mine was ignored, and every mistake of his was excused. This blatant favoritism shaped my entire childhood and left deep scars that I still carry today. When we were kids, my brother would physically assault me. He once pushed me 22 meters down the stairs because I wouldn't let him play with my new toy. When I told my parents, they grounded me for lying and took the toy away. Another time, he destroyed a project I had spent weeks on for school. My parents said I should have been more careful and grounded me for being irresponsible. Every time he messed up mowing the lawn or doing chores, I was the one who got punished. My brother could burn down the house, and they'd still find a way to blame me. When it came to college, my parents paid for his tuition, room, and board. He went to a top university and flunked out within a year. Meanwhile, I had to work 2 jobs and do all the household chores to put myself through school. They didn't give me a dime, not even a good luck. They were too busy trying to fix his mess to care about my future. I graduated with honors from a local community college, but there was no celebration, no acknowledgement of my hard work. My parents didn't even show up to the ceremony. Fast forward to now. I met my girlfriend 23F at work, and she quickly became my pillar of support. She knew all about my family's neglect and my struggles. She was the one bright spot in my otherwise miserable life. Or so I thought. We had been dating for 2 years, and I truly believed she was the one. She was kind, understanding, and always there for me. We talked about moving in together and building a future, and for the first time, I felt like things were looking up. A few weeks ago, one of her friends told me she was cheating on me with my brother. I was gutted and refused to believe it at first. But curiosity gnawed at me until I couldn't ignore it. I checked her phone when she wasn't around, and there it was. She didn't even bother hiding it. Her WhatsApp was full of messages to and from my brother. They had been carrying on an affair for the past 8 months, right under my nose, laughing at how clueless I was. The excuses she gave for ditching our weekend plans to help her sister babysit. Yeah, she was spending those weekends with my brother. I took screenshots of everything. When I confronted her, she had the nerve to deny it at first, then turned it around on me, accusing me of not giving her enough attention and care. As if that justified anything. Her betrayal cut me deeply, and the fact that she tried to blame me for it was like pouring salt in the wound. Then came the kicker. My parents called me the very next day. They knew everything and told me to stay out of my brother's relationships. He's going through a tough time, they said. Don't interfere. They even threatened to cut me out of their will if I didn't accept their twisted reality and move on. They hung up on me without even asking if I was okay. This was the final confirmation that they never cared about me. All they ever did was protect and coddle my brother, no matter how much he hurt me. The rage and betrayal I felt were unimaginable. The following day, my brother had the audacity to show up at my place. He barged into my room, full of smug arrogance, and started blaming me for the affair, saying it was my fault I didn't satisfy her. That was the final straw. Years of anger and hurt boiled over, and I snapped. I punched him straight in the face, knocking him unconscious right there in my own room. I expected my parents to call the cops, but surprisingly, they didn't press charges. Maybe they knew, deep down, that they had pushed me too far. Maybe they just didn't want the public embarrassment. These entitled arseholes have always treated my brother like he's the second coming, and I'm just the family scapegoat. They have coddled and enabled him every step of the way, turning a blind eye to his failures and his cruelty, while punishing me for simply existing. It's infuriating that they have the nerve to demand that I accept his betrayal and continue to support their delusion. I've spent my entire life being overlooked, undervalued, and mistreated by my own family. I've worked myself to the bone to prove my worth, only to be slapped in the face by the very people who should have supported me. My parents' refusal to acknowledge my pain and their insistence on defending my brother's despicable actions have left me feeling more alone than ever. So here I am, on Reddit, feeling lost and broken. I'm angry, hurt, and betrayed by the very people who were supposed to care about me. Am I the arsehole for knocking my brother out? Update. Hey Reddit, it's been a long time since I last posted. For those of you who remember my story, I wanted to give you an update on what has happened since that fateful day. Buckle up, because a lot has changed over the past 4 years. After knocking my brother out and dealing with the immediate fallout, I realized I couldn't continue living in such a toxic environment. I made the difficult but necessary decision to cut ties with my entire family. It wasn't easy, but it was something I had to do for my own sanity and well-being. I packed up my things, left my family home, and started fresh in a new city where I could finally be free of their poisonous influence. Initially, the move was incredibly tough. I had no support system and had to start from scratch. I rented a small apartment and took on whatever jobs I could find to make ends meet. It was a lonely and challenging time, but for the first time, I felt a sense of control over my own life. I had the freedom to make my own choices without the constant criticism and sabotage from my family. During this period, I met some amazing people who would become my chosen family. They were friends who supported me unconditionally, listened to my stories, and helped me heal from the deep wounds of my past. These friends became my rock, offering me the kind of support I had always craved, but never received from my biological family. We celebrated holidays together, supported each other through tough times, and created new, positive memories. One of the pivotal moments in my journey was deciding to pursue further education. I enrolled in a local college to study business administration, something I had always been interested in, but never had the chance to explore. It was hard juggling work and studies, but I was determined. The more I learned, the more I realized how much potential I had, and it fueled my passion to succeed. 4 years later, I'm proud to say that I graduated with honors. I've also secured a job as a project manager at a reputable company, where I specialize in overseeing various business projects and ensuring they run smoothly. My work is incredibly fulfilling, and I feel like I'm making a real difference. Every day, I see the impact of my efforts, and it drives me to continue improving and advancing in my career. Just a week ago, I received an unexpected message from my mother. It was a long email in which she admitted that she and my father had been wrong. She wrote about how my brother's life had continued to spiral out of control, and how they had come to realize how unfairly they had treated me. She apologized for the years of neglect and abuse, expressing a desire to reconcile and rebuild our relationship. She also mentioned that my brother had a child with my ex-girlfriend and was struggling to make ends meet. She wanted me to help by babysitting his child and providing financial support. Reading her words stirred up a whirlwind of emotions. Part of me was angry that it took them so long to see the truth, and angry that they only seemed to realize it when their golden child finally showed his true colors. But another part of me felt a glimmer of hope. Despite everything, a part of me still longed for their acceptance and love. This message reminded me of this account, and how much support I had received from all of you during my darkest times. I decided to log back in and share my story, hoping it might help others who were going through similar struggles. We started with small steps. I agreed to meet my mother for coffee, keeping my expectations low. Our first few meetings were awkward and tense, filled with long silences and tentative attempts at conversation. She shared stories about my brother's continued failures and how they had finally opened her eyes. I listened but kept my guard up, not ready to fully trust her yet. Then, during one of our meetings, she dropped the bombshell. She demanded that I reconcile with my brother and help him out. She said he was overwhelmed with his new responsibilities as a father and needed my support. She even suggested that I should help babysit his child and contribute financially to ease his burden. This was the last straw for me. I felt a surge of anger and betrayal. How could she expect me to help the very person who had caused me so much pain, the person who had destroyed my relationship and showed no remorse for his actions? I took a deep breath, looked her in the eyes, and gave her an ultimatum. I told her that I would never reconcile with my brother. I would not support him financially or otherwise. If she wanted to be part of my life, she needed to accept that and stop trying to drag me back into their toxic dynamics. The look on her face was one of shock and disappointment, but I stood my ground. I told her that I had built a new life for myself, one where I was happy and free from their influence. I wasn't willing to sacrifice my well-being for the sake of a brother who had never shown me an ounce of respect or love. We parted ways that day on strained terms. She was hurt, but I felt a sense of relief and empowerment. For the first time, I had set clear boundaries and refused to let my family's toxicity pull me down. Since then, my relationship with my parents has remained distant. They occasionally reach out, but I keep my responses polite and brief. I have no interest in reopening old wounds or getting dragged back into their drama. My brother is still estranged from me, and I have no regrets about that. He made his choices, and I made mine. In the end, I've found a balance that works for me. I've built a life that I'm proud of, surrounded by people who genuinely care about me. My chosen family has given me a sense of peace and closure. The journey was painful, but it was worth it. Stay tuned. If anything else happens, or if there's something worthy of an update, I'll be sure to share it with you all. Thank you to everyone who supported me and offered advice during my darkest times. Your words helped me more than you know. Update. The very next day. Reddit, buckle up, because this day has been a total SHT show. So, picture this. I'm at work, trying to grind through my day like a normal human being, when suddenly, out of nowhere, guess who waltzes in? Yeah, you guessed it, my ex, with a damn baby in tow. She's bawling her eyes out, snot running down her face, making a scene that could rival a soap opera. And get this, she's pointing her finger at me like I'm the spawn of Satan or something. She starts laying into me about how my brother, the poster child for laziness, won't lift a finger to help her with their kid. Then she has the audacity to turn on the waterworks and blame me for ruining her life. Like, excuse me. Last time I checked, I wasn't the one who cheated and knocked her up. I try to calm her down, but she's like a freaking hurricane, tearing through my workplace with her drama. My boss, bless his soul, storms out of his office, looking like he's about to explode. He demands an explanation, and I try to tell him. But I can see it in his eyes, he thinks I'm the crazy one in this situation. He kicks her out, but the damage is done. People are whispering and giving me these looks like I'm some kind of psycho. I swear, I've never felt more humiliated in my life. I'm so over this crap. Just when I think I've escaped the clutches of my messed up family, they find new and creative ways to drag me down. I don't know if I'll ever catch a break. I need a freaking vacation. Thanks for listening to my rant, Reddit. I'll keep you updated if this circus show ever ends.